Hello, my name is Ivan Pozo-Illas, otherwise known as Atrayo. I am an angelic oracle imagineer, basically the fancy way of saying I am a sage, a mystic, and an inspirational muse. I've been doing automatic writing for 22 years' time, clairvoyantly, and it's always been inclusive, compassionate spiritual wisdom. These are my vlog entries of Atrayo's Oracle here on YouTube and also on my blog site of over 12 years at Google's Blogger. This is my entry for Tuesday, January the 2nd. I'm running a bit late, so these are 8 statements. Some of them are memes that I've posted on my blog site. It's the entry of Jewels of Truth, meme and statements of channeled angelic wisdom. So they'll be on 8 topics. Some of them will be short, some of them will be a few paragraphs. The topics are on life, why, as to the meaning of life, convictions, meaning principles of character, not convictions of law enforcement, not that one. Action, hope, the face of God, smile, and justice. And justice, I think, is the meme. So let me just jump right into it. For justice, this is an excerpt from statement number 2311. Justice never demands with a blood-curdling scream for revenge, to take a life with the presence of God in them, no matter if the crime was genocide, is more a verdict from hell than of any civilized world based upon God and ultimate benevolence with peace. Basically, that's saying that the will of God never asks for violence, even in the punishment of a horrific crime. Since every entity, every person, every creature, even every blade of grass has an aspect, a piece of divinity from God. So it's an interesting way of jurisprudence, I guess, from the utopian heaven. Maybe it may seem a little bit too idealistic, but that's what the angel I channeled from was stating. And this one will be on action. Let me see. I noticed some of these don't have numbers, and I guess these are from my Twitter. Sometimes I do responses to other people and they don't know that I'm doing automatic writing with angels, and I just give them a response that's wisdom based, spiritual based, and these next 4 seem to fall under that category without numbers. So this one's on action. It's a couple sentences. To avoid conflict is a living grace, as it is wise in a bold character that is life-affirming. However, to do nothing when evil is afoot is equally a crime screamed in silence upon the guilty and the innocent alike. And I sign it there with my name. Ivan Pozo-Illas, otherwise known as Atrayo. And then I do another response on Twitter on the topic of hope. Hope, when it is authentic, as it is kind to one's native inborn compassion, yields to a greater truth that is often sublime as it is gentle in origin. That the glory of God was first realized by means of hope as a living heaven itself. To hope invites the holy powers to heal all. The next one is on the face of God. To peer deepest into the soul of another is to see the smiling face of God before you. without judgment and without recriminations, but in pristine glory to all that is splendid inside you. One reveals the divine through the heart within. The next is on the topic of smile. To be strong with a smile of awakened gentleness reveals the depth of beauty in one's soul despite worldly afflictions. One transcends injustice only to find the ineffable majesty of God in your blessed midst. Amen. And this next one has a number, 785B, from my social media posts, probably on Twitter and Instagram, on the topic of convictions. It's a short one. To have a choice is important, as it is greater to be able to exercise it freely without interference. Life is endless and it is final. To act without conviction is to become a predator of the world. Acting with scruples showcases integrity as it does the will of God on earth. This next one is from my Facebook post on the topic of life. It'll be 3 paragraphs, and it's number 784B. Life is expressive as it is dominant in and around us. For the best and worst outcomes does life and death affect us here in the world. When things feel normal, we adjust gradually, and when life feels chaotic, its surreal tendencies often overwhelm us. Even pinnacles of good news have similar impacts upon our collective psyches, since many gains are realized like this in living well. When tragedies and other maladies happen beyond our control, we can either sink or swim parallel to them like a riptide. To sink, we become an instant victim, and to swim parallel, we pivot with self-empowerment, seeking to overcome our horrible fate. Movers and shakers may not be masters of the fates, but they are its most dedicated practitioners. Whether in commerce or in politics, they often set the tone for all others to follow, with or without convictions in their collective agendas. Aside from fearmongers praying in wait for whom to harm, we have the quiet giants in our sublime mists seeking to heal and restore order to our lives, be they the kind neighbor down the street to the stranger that pauses and gives you encouraging, wise words of profound truth. Each of us belongs to God, for we are God in a meta, ever-widening inclusion of everlasting grace as His omnipresence come alive! Exclamation point. How we respond to life matters, and how we stay calm and centered matters most, when the sanctity of our souls is plainly divine. Amen. And I sign it there with my name. So, I guess, and this last one will be a real long one. That's from my longhand. So a longhand, more paragraphs. So this one has 5 paragraphs to it on the topic of why, as to the meaning of life. It's statement number 2593. As you notice, the count is longer compared to the 700s of what I've done on social media. And I'll just go from right there. Every time a seeker with faith in the heart inquires why, in parentheses with a question mark, to this mortal life and reality itself, God, the maker of all, smiles and nods in agreement with a heartfelt yes to the question. As God is all-knowing and supreme, agrees that such a question is valid in awakening to such a mystical response in time. The answer to such a prime question as to why we are here now can vary depending on the individual's outlet of predestiny. In general, God seeks us as His children to recall for ourselves through worship and service to one another, always led by divine grace in order to learn the grand importance of such an inquiry. The response is as follows, and it is never "why not?" That is an immature reply. It is to remember alongside our choice to be reborn in the flesh as an eternal emanation of God's infinite identity. You see, in the afterlife, all paradoxes are completely reconciled by enlightenment perfectly. We are both as God itself metaphysically in harmony with the macro environs of the cosmos, besides simultaneously having an accord with the micro of our individualized spiritual being, presence as an entity. This uniform existence permits us, in conjunction with all other souls, to set the parameters of our next mortal rebirth by means of reincarnation. We collectively aim for the best in a sea of free will choices optimized for us when we become people, creatures, ecosystems, and archetypical forces of the universe. It's like a game of best guesses with several wild cards thrown in for good or bad measure to help define one's mortal or immortal character in personality and with the integrity of meanings and purposes. The meta response to the answer "why?" is always elegant in holy nature. To be like God in a younger, primitive expression, and to experience contrast led by the duality of highs and abysmal lows. This friction creates changes and desires, since in the afterlife all is constant without a need or wants, for we are God collectively. Thus we become like potentially shooting stars upon the cosmos, some with a more amazing mortal lives, but not all, since mortal relativity abounds with an imperfect free will. Here we stand with you metaphysically to awaken and live spiritually centered lives by the will of God in heaven and earth. Amen. And I send it there with my name, Ivan Pozo-Illas, otherwise known as Atrayo. And I guess those are the 8 statements. And it was only one meme. And like I said, many of these I do in response to other people's, maybe they put their own little bit of wisdom on their Twitter channel, and I come in and I sort of sift through it and I spruce it up in a way with these automatic writing clairvoyant angelic responses. And I've been doing this for many years now with my Twitter account. And my Twitter account is @Atrayo. That's ATRAYO. And I'll put a link to my blog post from January 2nd on Jewels of Truth Beam and Statements of Channeled Angelic Wisdom, so you could read along and find my Twitter link. So thank you for watching. Please like the channel. Or subscribe to the channel and like this video. My website is jewelsoftruth.us, so bookmark that, and you'll see my blog site is tabbed in there, and my books that I have on sale of the Jewels of Truth series. I have 3 of them, but they're available at Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Kindle, ebook, and paperback. So thank you again for watching, and have a good week. Bye bye now.